Hi, hello, hi, welcome, hello, hi. Hope everybody's having a good weekend and has a good week to look forward to. I'm here to ruin it by showing you Jordan Peterson. For anybody who doesn't know anything about Jordan Peterson, built his entire right-wing punditry career off of lying about and making bold extremist statements about Canadian harassment laws and selling that to Americans, and Americans fucking bought that shit.
My first claim: atheists reject God, but they don't understand what they're rejecting.
His first claim: atheists don't understand what they're rejecting. Okay, so this is already a loaded sort of claim in the first place, because if you define God as unknowable, then nobody can possibly know what they're rejecting or accepting on that basis. So it depends on how you define God. A lot of religions, particularly Christianity, define God as this unknowable being that we can't possibly understand God due to our being humans. And so, it's kind of a silly definitional technicality that doesn't really mean anything.
One eternity later.
So despite the fact that Moses is a stellar character and he's had a long and difficult life and can withstand a lot of difficulty and travail, God puts him between two cliffs so he can just see a crack of what's in front of him. And when God walks by, he allows him to see his back. Okay, so the implication of that story is that the divine is fundamentally unknowable. The divine is fundamentally unknowable. It's a pinnacle experience.
Called it! I get the points! Called it! He defines God as unknowable. Therefore, nobody, by that definition, is this not literally what I said at the fucking beginning? Called it. He made the statement, atheists don't understand what they're rejecting. I said he is going to define God as unknowable. And when he defines God as unknowable, it means that nobody could possibly know what they're rejecting. And then I countered it, and I said, hey, guess what? That means you can't possibly know what you're accepting or believing in either. I win! Goodbye! I win!
My next claim is that morality and purpose cannot be found within science.
That's not what science does! For my next trick, I will define something in a way that nobody defines it as, in a way that makes no sense. This is just Jordan hiding in this, trying to attribute something definitionally to science that doesn't do those things. You're demanding that science do philosophy. And science admittedly does have philosophy baked into it. If I figure out how to build an atomic bomb, that doesn't tell me whether or not I should use it.
My next claim is that everybody worships something, including atheists, even though they might not know it.
So this is what's going to happen. He's going to do the same thing with this thing that he did with the first thing. It means that he's going to do that thing that guy just accused him of doing, that hiding inside of semantic fog, and he's just going to define worship however the fuck he wants it, as arbitrarily as he fucking wants it to be. Completely flying in the face of, again, I will point out, his first argument.
If everybody had mutually exclusive views of what God is, no one could speak to each other. The mere fact of communication presumes a commonality of assumption and definition.
If everybody had a different view of things, then nobody would be able to communicate. God, that's so stupid. Which was that the fact that communication exists and we can have agreed upon terms means that we only have that because God. Otherwise we wouldn't be able to communicate.
A few moments later.
Hi.
Good work.
Thank you.
Hi there.
I'm Zena. So I want to start off with like defining terms.
Yep.
How do you define worship?
Prioritize.
Prioritize. So almost like having a preference over something rather than the other.
It's a hierarchy of preferences.
Yeah.
And you use it to direct your attention.
Who defines worship like that? If you were going to define it that way, why wouldn't you then just use the word prioritize? Right? So if you don't go to church and say, I'm going to church to prioritize God. No. You might say that you prioritize God as part of your overall belief system, but you're not like that. Nobody defines it like that. It's not nobody ever. Every definition requires one additional definition. Jordan Peterson is unable to have any meaningful communication. Absolutely. No, you're 100% right. Then this might be fundamental to who Jordan Peterson is as a person, as opposed to like any fundamental truth. Jordan Peterson likes to hide inside of the semantic fog and is made of word salad, meaning that there is no value to any conversation with him according to him, because the definitions are arbitrary and will change from topic to topic, let alone context to context, and sometimes within the same context and the same conversations. And he just says words that mean fucking nothing in anything that he's talking about. Like, he just says shit.
My final claim is that atheists accept Christian morality, but deny the religion's foundational stories.
I mean, that's really fucking stupid. Atheists accept Christian morality, but deny the religion's foundational stories. This is just defining morality into existence. It's presupposition. I don't know if you guys have noticed, because let's talk about this a little bit. Everything that Jordan Peterson has done so far is he's just doing presupposition. That's all this is. He's just presupposing, right? He's presupposing God. He's presupposing Christianity. And it's interesting that Jordan is totally fine with presupposing the Christian God and presupposing the Christian stories and presupposing Christian morality, but refuses to say and claim he is in fact a Christian. That should be telling to some people. That should tell you something about Jordan Peterson. On top of that, I'm going to throw out here, he's presupposing Christian morality as being true, accurate, or real. So he's just going to do the thing he did already again for the third time, because I didn't even bother with the science one because that was just absurd. That he's just going to define it into existence. So if he defines the words because they're so malleable to him, even though they're not, his initial claim was that words aren't malleable at all, that therefore his claim is correct because he's presupposing it. That's about it. That's all this is. This is all just bare bones, base level, low tier, shallow as fuck presuppositionalism and apologetics that's just been like spruced up, quote unquote, with word salad. That's all it is. Jordan Peterson's just a pseudo-intellectual running a script, and it's not even a new script. It's not even a fancy script. It's an old script where he's just throwing fancy words inside it to sound like he's fucking smart.